Needed to know that you snorted cocaine off some guy's dick?
I said that?
Yes, you did.
I don't remember doing that.
You realize there's going to be like 5 people watching this, right?
Oh, it doesn't matter if it's 5 or 500 million.
Earlier. So who do you want to get on the podcast?
David Robinson. Say that if I'm
just
not a
talk
professional,
normally.
I am. How can I not?
I am. Looks at the camera. I am.
Y'all just wanna ride the wave. Y'all can get up out my way. Y'all keep switching up your lanes. I might hit you straight away.
What's wrong with laughing?
No, nothing.
What do you mean?
I love laughing. We have a life of joy.
So okay.
A life of love.
Let me ask you a question. We were talking earlier. So who do you want to get on the podcast?
David Robinson.
Okay, explain how you would do this.
Why? I cannot give away my professional secrets.
Mom. How do you know David Robinson?
Him and Valerie came into my life right after he got back from the Navy and moved to San Antonio.
Okay, but...
Oh, I waited on him at Cracker Barrel.
So you waited on him and you're expecting for him to just come on the podcast for free?
David and Valerie were very generous towards me. So I will reserve the right to make comment on that until I pursue an avenue of reconnecting.
Mom, it's a podcast, not a goddamn interview. I don't know why you're like acting all professional.
Because I am a professional.
Oh my God.
How can I not say that if I'm
just
not a
talk
professional,
normally?
I am. How can I not?
I am. Looks at the camera. I am. I mean, what is wrong with you? Just act natural.
I am. This is me.
You're literally standing like this. And you're saying, I'm acting completely natural.
Yeah.
What is wrong with you?
Oh, Lord have mercy. So, it's more, this is who I am. I mean, look, Kyle, I raised a professional son.
What is wrong with you? Why are you crying already?
I'm not crying.
We're 10 seconds into the podcast and you're crying. The hell is wrong with you?
It's just a reaction of being happy. I'm just happy sitting here having this opportunity to have a podcast.
You realize there's going to be like 5 people watching this, right?
Oh, it doesn't matter if it's 5 or 500 million. I just want you to be happy.
I'm pretty happy.
I know you are. And that's what makes me so happy that I have tears of joy.
Oh my God. Anyways.
So, I'd like to say thank you for having me on one of your first podcasts as your guest. Mm-hmm. And I'm excited to see what the future of Kyle Everett holds.
And how do you feel about the name?
Crooked Panels, I realize, is a tribute to his Crooked Panel Studios.
My studios? This isn't a studio. I'm in my bedroom where I play video games.
Well, he's got it set up as a studio.
No, it's not. I literally have 2 computers over there that are just chilling. Oh. It's not really a studio. It's more just like a nice little hangout spot that I can talk to people to or with. What are you laughing about?
To me, I'm naming it Crooked Panel Studios Podcast.
What?
As I would
That's
like
a mouthful of a name, don't you think?
I would like to attribute it to those crooked panels on the wall over here.
Again, not acting natural.
I am very natural, very relaxed, and I'm used to being...
Yeah, a little too relaxed because you used to tell my friends all the things you used to do when you were younger.
Oh, God, that's because I didn't want them to do what I did. And that's why I was honest with your friends, because they needed to know that...
They needed to know that you snorted cocaine off some guy's dick?
I said that?
Yes, you did.
I don't remember doing that. I cannot believe you put that on YouTube saying that. I don't ever remember saying that.
Yeah, bullshit.
I don't remember.
Yeah, I remember sitting at our house when we were having little house parties, and then
Oh
you told all my
goodness.
friends.
I must have had a little too much to drink. I cannot believe he's saying that.
Why? And why are you looking at the camera?
Well, because people need to know how I'm going to react to something like that.
I mean, was it wrong?
I don't know.
Yeah, you don't know.
I must reserve again, no comment.
Well, that's no fun.
Oh, that is fun.
No, it's not.
We're not making a graphic video or personal.
No,
video.
again, I think my eyes would burn and fall out of their sockets.
Oh, I would have to say, Kyle, that I enjoyed life, and I would have.
That's one hell of a way to enjoy life.
Well, that's not. I'm just saying I told them the things that I probably told them not to be doing.
I mean, I guess it's good life advice to not snort coke off a cock.
Oh, God, Kyle, I cannot believe my son has put me in this luxurious position.
Luxurious?
Yes, baby, because, women do like.
Oh, okay. We're going to have to stop having this conversation. I don't want to get into the
there we
weeds.
go.
Yeah, no.
So he brought it up, but who's winning?
Yeah, okay. You remember those? Remember buying me those?
The Pokemon cards?
Yeah.
All the time.
Do you remember when you bought me the Charizard?
We went to a place off at Tezel Road, and we paid like $50 for it.
$50? You know how much it's worth now?
No.
Around like 500
Oh, yay.
for each of those. Isn't that crazy?
I know. I love that he has stuff.
I mean, if they actually got like graded and everything, do you know what grading is for cards?
Looking at and seeing how well the cards preserved.
Well, the condition, yeah, the condition of the cards, and and then there's like a certain scale, and then there's different scales based on different companies and things like that. PSA is like usually the standard PSA grading from 1 through 10, and so I think most of those are probably gonna be like 5 or 6s, but they're just nice memories to have that I kept my Pokemon cards since I was like 7 when you bought those.
Oh gosh.
Before you
yes.
and Dad Dad left or whatever.
Right. Oh yeah, it was back. You were probably young. Yeah.
Yeah.
Real young.
Do you remember living right down the street?
I do. I was telling that to the El Bueno Gusto Cafe this morning that I used to frequent La Chaparita often with you when you were younger. We love our Mexican food here in San Antonio, and it is Viva la Fiesta this week.
And the NFL draft today.
Oh, and the NFL draft today.
Yeah, you excited for the Patriots to do absolutely nothing?
That is biased opinions.
Oh, is it?
Yes, it is. I believe that anything is possible for the Patriots.
What are you, LeBron James? Anything is possible. Oh, no, wait, no, it's Kevin Durant. Kevin Garnett, I'm sorry. Yeah.
So if he got that wrong, you know what else he got wrong?
Why are you looking at the camera?
Well, I want people to look at us as an audience. I mean, we are supposed to be reaching viewers, and our viewers are supposed to be enjoying our crazy conversation as well.
Mom, if anyone stays in a room with you for 20 minutes, they'll enjoy the conversation because they'll walk out being like, what the hell did I just experience?
I didn't know it was Bash Mom today.
No, it's not Bash Mom. It's just who you are.
I did grow up 30 years prior. I am 31 years older now, so.
What's your perfect age, your ideal age? What do you tell me all the time?
29.
Why is that?
29 when I was probably the most fit. I was in a good place mentally, strong physically, and happy in my home life. I was married to Daniel, who is passed, and we were flying a lot, and we had a nice home, and drove nice cars, and didn't worry too much. He was, we worked, and we had friends like the late Gilbert Duran, and we used to have a lot of good times. We used to meet people down on the Riverwalk and have some really nice dinners, go to Nyosa, all of those.
How long
great
you been in
things.
San Antonio for?
Well, I've been visiting and living on and off all my life. So the first time I came to San Antonio was 1966.
Yeah, what the hell was here in 1966?
The train station where I came in on with my mom and my
You sure you didn't ride in
siblings.
on a horse, or?
No, no horse.
Come on.
Come on. Although we did have a horse, her name was Daisy.
Oh,
Quarter horse Morgan.
you're talking about when you were in New York, though.
Right, but I came here for summers because my mom and dad were white and Hispanic, and my mom's Hispanic family, her mom and dad lived on the south side of San Antonio. And
Where's Grandma from?
Grandma was born in San Diego, Alice, Texas, actually.
Alice, Texas?
Alice, Texas. And then so we would come first time via train, 1966, to visit her parents during the summer when we were off from school, which was kind of strange because we were leaving New York where it was cool during the summer and coming to Texas where it was very hot during the summer.
Yeah, it's definitely two different places. I mean, going up there when Grandpa passed away, it was definitely a different kind of weather. I mean, it was hot.
Geographical surrounding.
It was hot here, and they would get cold up there when we were there. What was it, like March? Something
February.
like that? February? Oh, yeah, it was even colder. I was going to ask you something. Oh, yeah, so when did you first get married?
Oh, I know. My son wants. I love this. I love that I overcame a lot of challenges.
Well, no, hold on.
And
First
one
off,
of
no.
them
That's not
was
that's
when
not,
I
no.
got
That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is you lived an interesting life. May it that it was very weird and sometimes, just interesting. You need to like talk about that. I think you need to be more open about those type of
Well,
things.
I'm very open about it.
Yeah, in public, around my friends when I'm a teenager and get made fun of after that.
Sorry about that, Kyle, but you're a better person for it.
Oh, okay. Well, anyways, when did you get married?
You overcame it too. I was married the first time December 7th, 1975.
And then when were you born?
December 26, 1960. I was 14 and I turned 15 2 weeks after I got married. I was married until I was 19.
To a horse jockey, right? From whatever.
No, Bob Martinez. Bob Martinez was my first husband.
I know, but what did you do?
He
Who was the horse jockey that you're always talking about?
Oh, well, he came later.
What?
So let me tell you about Bob Martinez. He's a wonderful guy. Comes from a long line of firefighters. When I met him, he was at Randolph Brooks Air Force Base.
So he's in the Air Force?
He was a medic in the Air Force.
Like Grandpa? Grandpa was in the Air
Grandpa
Force?
was in the Air Force, but he was a pencil pusher.
Yeah, but
But anyways.
I could see where the issues started. But go ahead.
Actually, it was because he was our neighbor and he was an attractive man at the time.
Oh, so the closest thing.
Hi, Father Kyle. Oh, Lord have mercy. So anyways,
So you got married at 15.
I did. My mother signed Dolores.
So back then they could just rent you off like you were cattle, or?
No, they pretty much just said, if you want to get married and we can't control you, we're not going to hit you with a cattle prod or anything. So we'll just let you get married.
That's crazy.
Well, and I think more of it too, my dad and my mom were at odds. They had been divorced already 11 years after a 15-year marriage. And there was still a lot of love-hate going on there. And I was just the last of three. And, you know.
What?
I think that it was a point where my mother just threw up her hands and didn't know what to do. And
With you?
with me, with life.
Oh,
in
the
general.
whole issues that everyone was having?
Yes. So I believe the easiest way to, what's the word I'm looking for? Relieve her of the responsibility of a teenage crazy redhead. She let me get married.
At 15.
Yes, 14. I turned
14?
2 weeks later.
Oh my God, Mom, that's crazy.
Yes, I know, but I was, in her defense, I was a woman. You know, I wanted to be a woman.
Okay,
I thought I was a
no,
woman.
no. This is, stay away from that. I don't want to know anything about that.
Okay.
But anyways,
well,
okay, so when, that was your first marriage, right?
Yes.
So how
and
many times have you been married?
Well, legally married 3 times.
Yeah, I know.
I did not
No,
marry.
I'm sorry. I didn't know that. I'm saying, I thought you were going to say I didn't marry your dad. And
I
was
didn't
gonna say,
marry
know.
his father,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah. So what were the other? Well, so
number 2
yeah,
was the jockey,
a horse jockey.
a horse jockey, a very handsome horse jockey. His name was Arturo Vallejo, and he used to run at races.
See a pattern here, but go ahead.
Sunland Downs in New Mexico, and we'd win, and that was fun. And I met him through a nice couple friend that were, one of them was from El Paso, Texas, and the other was from Mexico, Juarez, across the way, and they were married, and that was Pablo and Grace. Her name was also Grace. And I'm not sure how I met them. I could have been at Lucy's bar and grill there in El Paso when I was in college. And anyways, they introduced me to Arturo because they would go to the dog races and the horse races in Mexico all the time, and that's where they met Arthur. And they said, "Oh, you'll love Grace. Meet Grace." And I liked Arthur. He was good. And
So wait, hold on. How long did the first marriage last?
it was almost 5 years. So I was 14.
So you're about
I was
19?
19 when, yeah.
And then you met. So then how long after?
I didn't meet. Oh, it was years because I went to New York for a year until I was about 21. It was a little over a year, and then I moved to El Paso, Texas, to go to college.
Oh yeah, UTEP, right?
Yeah.
Didn't you meet like some football player there?
I met all kinds of people there. Of course, Seth Joyner. He's still a friend of mine on my Facebook.
Seth Joyner, huh?
Yeah, Seth Joyner.
Who's Seth Joyner again?
He's a Philadelphia Eagle defensive back. Yes.
Why don't we get Seth Joyner on the podcast?
Well, I don't know if he'd fly all this way.
No, you don't need to fly. You can just do it on the.
Oh, on Zoom.
On Zoom, yeah, we can put it right there.
I could actually text him if you'd like to have him as a guest on our podcast.
Why not? That would be interesting.
And then, I went to school.
Because apparently
there.
you know all these athletes.
Dave Feidel was there.
Who's Dave Feidel?
He was a 7-footer that played basketball at the time they won the Western Athletic Conference, and he went on to play for the Houston Rockets.
Oh wow, okay.
And then, of course,
You ever seen the movie Big Fish?
I think I have. The one where the old lady or something, they always see it and then they never see it, and at the end it jumps up out of the water. Is that the one?
No, Mom.
Oh.
No, it's about his dad. This guy's dad, right?
I think I have seen it, though.
And he was basically, he would tell his son all these extravagant stories when he was younger. And
and they turned out to be true.
And they turned out to be true, yeah. So if you happen to get David Robinson, Seth Joyner on the podcast, I will concede that this was a big fish moment.
Okay. Well, I'll send out some emails.
Yeah.
And we'll see what happens.
So you met Dave Feidel, is that how you say his name?
Dave Feidel and Kent Lockhart. Yeah, they
Who's
were
Kent
roommates.
Lockhart?
He was also a basketball player for the Miners, and he went on to, he didn't play, he played semi-pro ball in Wayne, New Jersey, but Dave Feidel went on to the NBA.
Was it the NBA back then?
Yes, it was.
When was this? 70 something, right? Oh, it was early 80s.
Yeah.
So he was playing against like Magic.
And he
And
was
Bird.
with, I think, who was that big center? Hakeem or
Hakeem Olajuwon, yeah.
I think it was either him or Ralph Sampson, one of the two.
No, it was Hakeem, because he went to the Rockets, right? You said?
He went to the Rockets.
Yeah, it was Hakeem. Well, Hakeem was there. I don't know when Hakeem got drafted. Do you know?
I just know that
When
was
did-
such
when
a
did-
long time ago.
do you know when-
Feidel, let's see.
Wait, when did
3
Hakeem get drafted?
years from 81, probably 83 or 84, Dave Feidel.
No, I'm not looking at. Oh, okay, yeah. Let's look at Dave Feidel. Actually, let's see if we can find Dave Feidel. Let's take a look at this. Okay, so how you spell it? Dave.
Feitel, I believe.
Fei what?
Tel.
T.
Or maybe it's Del. It could be Del.
American basketball player.
Yeah, is that him? I think so.
You got your glasses? You want to put your glasses on?
Yeah, I guess I could put my glasses on. Don't want to, but I don't wear my contacts today. So. Let me see. Yes, that's David. Yes.
I'll look at him now, though.
What's he look like now? Wow, he looks fabulous. How cool, man. And I'm older than he is.
Oh, yeah?
Yes, I am.
Interesting.
But what is he doing now? Does it say?
I have no idea, actually.
But he was Kent's roommate, and it was
Oh, wait.
so
Who
much
is Kent again?
Kent
Let me see.
Lockhart.
Kent Lockhart. What did he...
I
And he
can't
played
find
ball,
him.
too?
He did. He played for the minors, and then he was playing in the USBL.
Was that him?
In New Jersey, Wayne, New Jersey. Let me see. Yes.
He passed
that's
away.
that.
It looks like he passed away.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Where does it say that? There he is.
NBL Morin's Lockhart passing.
Oh, last year.
Yeah.
How did he pass?
I don't know.
Oh, look at. Yes.
The NBL community is mourning the passing of the player Lockhart. Lockhart played 3 seasons with Eastern Spectres between 1989 and 1991.
Oh.
Wow, averaged 24.3 points. That's pretty good.
He was an outside point shooting guard.
Newcastle Falcons. Newcastle's in New Jersey?
No, this. Oh, maybe. What year was that? It had to have been after college. So
Lockhart scored a career high 47 against. Oh no, Newcastle Falcons. He scored against them.
What year did he start playing? What year did he graduate from UTEP?
I don't know if it's going to show that on here. But Lockhart scored a career high 47 against the.
He was a wonderful basketball player.
Lockhart was named in the All NBL first team in 1989 and All NBL second team in 1990. Hailing from Palo Alto, California,
Yep.
he was
His mom
drafted
was
by
an
the
artist.
New York Knicks. Oh, he did go to the NBA.
Oh, he didn't make it though.
He just probably didn't make it.
No, he didn't make it.
He was drafted by the Knicks at the 1985 NBA draft. Lockhart passed away at age 59.
Wow, he was so young. 85. So 85.
85 was when Jordan came in to the
Yeah,
league.
so he was.
Yeah, because let me see, 1985.
That's when I went to New Jersey. Was in '85 to watch him play. He was a good friend.
Yeah, I think that was Jordan's rookie
I
year.
can't believe though that Kent's passed him. Hello, Kent.
Yeah.
We're talking about you.
And then oh wait, no, was his second season that he got there? When did Michael Jordan get drafted?
I don't know, but who was on the team with Dave Feidel?
What, in UTEP?
No, Houston Rockets. He played at the Houston Rockets.
Oh, Dave Feidel played at the Houston Rockets. Let's see, Dave Feidel. How do you spell it again? There it is.
FEIT. Wow, we need. That funny. I just love that.
Let's see. Oh, it looks like he's writing for Sports Illustrated, maybe?
Oh, we might have to send him an email.
If we die, we die. Wait, he said that?
Maybe he was talking,
Oh, no, I think he's talking about,
football.
yeah, about football. He played basketball there, right?
He played basketball.
On
Look at how he doesn't
Houston.
even look like himself too much anymore.
That's not, I don't think that's him. Let's see.
There he goes. He's on the Houston Rockets there.
Hey, let's see, what year did he play? So they got drafted in 1986.
Okay, so see, they all graduated, I guess.
Yeah,
in
UTEP,
85.
Texas, El Paso. Mm-hmm. Who was on the roster then?
On the El Paso team?
No. The Rockets. So he was drafted in 1986. So 1987, Houston. All right, I guess I should do 1986, Houston. Rockets. Let's see. Who was on the roster then? Can you see that? I actually can't even see that. Holy.
Wait, let me see.
Let me actually just zoom in on this. Okay, so yeah, Hakeem was there.
Hakeem Olajuwon. See, I was right.
Yep.
Come on. And Ralph Sampson was both there.
Oh, they were both there. Wow. You know, Ralph Sampson. Who got? Who did Ralph Sampson get picked before?
I don't know.
Michael Jordan.
Oh.
So the Rockets blundered. That's really what the takeaway is here. Is they blundered on Ralph Sampson. They picked up Michael Jordan
instead of Michael Jordan.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
It is very crazy.
How much a franchise would have changed if they had imagine if they would have had Hakeem and Michael Jordan.
Oh, it would have been fabulous. And but I have throughout my living experience met some awesome, great people. one of the other two people that I love are both passed away as well. Is John Denver, and
Wait. John Denver, the musician.
Yes, and
How did you know John Denver?
And David Carradine.
How did you know these people?
Okay, so I was at El Paso.
There's no.
And
okay, Mom.
I wish I still had that napkin, but I don't. But
That John Denver.
yes, that John Denver, and he died shortly after I met him. And he had come in. I worked at a restaurant called Smuggler's Inn back then, and he came in, and I waited on him and his group, and he was very pleasant. And he even wrote me an autograph, which I don't have. I had Dave's autograph, and I had David Carradine's autograph. Now, I met him.
Dave who?
David Carradine.
Who's David Carradine?
Kung Fu. He played many. His father was a big actor.
This guy?
Keith Carradine's son. I believe the one that got killed in Japan or Tokyo.
I have
yes,
no idea.
that's him. He looked about like that when I met him, though.
Really?
He was dating his manager at the time, and I had gone to watch. My friend had come into El Paso because he was Johnny Metz, and he was a referee for minor league baseball. What do they call the missions? Is that?
Yeah, I think it's minor league baseball.
And so he had come in, and he had called me, telling me he was in town from San Antonio.
Okay.
And we went to stay at, he was staying at a Ramada Inn, and I had gone and joined him into the Ramada Inn. They had like a cocktail lounge, and there at the bar was David Carradine and his manager, I believe.
So you didn't know him, you just met him.
Well, we went on, like, he stayed there. He was making the movie Lone Wolf. And so he invited us to dinner and to, have drinks. We just, had a lovely evening a couple times. And
a lovely evening.
yeah, he wrote me a wonderful note too, but God, got misplaced with Mother when I came back from El Paso. But him and Chuck Norris were making that movie The Lone Wolf at the time. And Barbara Carrera.
I don't believe you.
It's okay. I don't care if you believe me or not. I mean, I'm telling you the honest God's truth. God knows. David knows. Hi, David.
What about the truth of Dave Robinson trying to get on the podcast?
Well, I really want, if you really want, and I will really
Mom, it's not going to
out.
happen.
All I can do is say that I will make the attempt. What about Seth? I might even have his phone number.
Seth Joyner.
Yeah, I think it's on my other phone though, but
I don't even know. How long did he play in the league for? In NFL?
Oh yeah, he was defensive back of the year one year.
Oh wow, okay.
For the Philadelphia Eagles, around the same time in the '80s,
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you could look him up too.
Let me see. And how long did you know him for?
Well, I went to school there. I think 3 years. Him and Mike Bradford and there was another guy. I can't think of his name. He was a shorter guy, but I was there during the summer, and these football players had stayed there during the summer break instead of going to their respective hometowns. And I drove a 1979 Z28 back then, and not a lot of people had cars, and so I would give them rides to the local places. And they would come knock on my door. Or if we also all would eat at the snack bar, have a good time. We had a good time back then. And one of the people that I missed, I don't know where he is. His name was Amin Rod. He was such a fun guy. And he would be so amazed by all these friends that I had,
Are y'all a lot of friends? Still do?
Well, no, I don't. I do talk to Seth every now and then. I see a post, I believe. And I saw Mike Bradford, but it's hard to believe that that's Mike Bradford. We all age over the years, so it's really hard to remember. Mike Bradford, I think, played football too.
Oh, at UTEP?
Yes, he played at UTEP for sure. I just don't know if he went on to play.
How long were you at UTEP for?
Oh, Kevin Belcher. He went to go on to play. They were there all 3 years.
No. I'm talking about you. How long were you at UTEP for?
3 years.
Because I know you. I mean, you haven't graduated from college.
No, I haven't. 3 years.
Why'd you stop?
Life,
What is that question? No, that's not an answer.
Well, sometimes, things get in the way. The last time when I was hoping to finish, I fell down and did a backdrop and herniated C5 and C6. And
Wait, hold on. Okay,
I was
slow
out
down.
of work
Slow down.
for
Slow
2
down.
years.
Slow down. So you went to UTEP for 3 years
Yes.
to do what?
Accounting.
Okay. And then why did you stop?
I ran out of money and had to come back to San Antonio.
Oh, okay. So you didn't take any loans or anything then?
No.
Were they offering loans back then for
Oh,
college?
yeah, they did offer loans back then, but no.
You never thought about just doing that and then trying to finish?
No, I didn't. I had no.
Guidance really.
No structure, no direction of what to do or how to do it. I just always flew by the seat of my pants, as they say.
Yeah, still doing that, I think.
Oh, not too much anymore.
Well, but you're taking care of people and things like that. But my point is like that's kind of what you always did.
Oh, I had to.
Yeah,
I
I
had
know.
no parents.
No, I know. I mean, getting married at 15, that's how it works.
14.
14. It's still crazy to me. You're literally a freshman in high school.
Yes, I was at Marshall High School at the time.
Oh, you went to Marshall.
Yes, and they kind of frowned on me
Being married?
being married and going to school. Yes, they did.
That's crazy. That is wild.
Yep.
A different time.
It was a very different time.
So did you live through the Cold War?
Funny. But get back. I really had a great time in El Paso. Again, I met some amazing people.
So then after you left El Paso, once you stopped, because you couldn't afford it at the time.
Right.
Where did you go after?
I came back to San Antonio.
For how long? Because you didn't stay here the rest of the time, did you?
Yes, pretty much, because I would go back well, that's not true. You're right. So I did go out to Denver, Colorado, and I lived in Boulder, Colorado for a few months in downtown Denver for, I don't know, 6 or 8 months. And then I came back and ran the Mayor's Cup when Henry Cisneros was mayor in 1980.
What was the Mayor's Cup?
I guess I came back that year just to come back because I ran that year.
In what?
The Mayor's Cup.
In
1980. I believe it was 1980. San Antonio. It was a 10-mile run.
Gotta fact check you,
I know. It's okay.
I don't see a Mayor's Cup here.
Yeah, it should be. San Antonio. Mayor's Cup run. 1980.
Maybe I should put run. Henry Cisneros, 33-year-old urban planner, swept to victory here. And this is mayor's race.
Yeah, no, you need, it was a run.
Is it just mayor like this, maybe? No, I don't.
It was one of our first run. It was a 10-mile run. Put in a 10-miler.
Well, anyways, it's not important.
No, it is important.
No, it's not that important. So you ran this run.
Oh, yes, and I did pretty well.
Put this closer to your face.
Oh, I did pretty well. Is this better?
Don't pull it.
Sorry, I have muscles. I can't help it. Okay.
Oh my goodness, Mom. Anyways, so you did this run and you came back after being in Denver. And
Yes, and
how long were you in Denver for? You said 6 to 8 months.
oh yeah, but I would fly, and I would go back and forth to places. So I also spent some time in Florida and Colorado, and then back to New York. I spent some time again in New York, and then I came back to San Antonio and made it my permanent home.
Then so
I married Dan in 1987.
So how long ago after that was El Paso?
El Paso was before that. So
No,
it
I know,
was-
but how many years after El Paso did you marry Dan?
Probably, let's see, if I married him in 87, I'd been back a while. So I think I was there 3 years. When did the guys leave in 84, 85? So I left right around the same time they all left school.
It was around like 86, I think is what it was
No,
when they got drafted.
85. But, and then I married, so I was home about 2 years before I met Dan and married him
And how long were you all together for?
till 1991.
And then 2 years after you met my dad?
No, I met your dad right after I divorced Dan, and we lived together for 2 years, and then you came along, 1993.
That timeline doesn't really,
91.
there's just 2 years.
And
So you
we
met
were
my dad
born
and then
in
had a
90
kid?
Well, we were living together almost 2 years before.
So you divorced Dan and
Yes.
literally immediately after you met my dad?
Well, I met your dad. I had divorced Dan. I was living in an apartment. I had not been in that apartment maybe 6 months or something. And it was like in October. And then the following year, or that Christmas, I don't know, I had gone to a place called Sneakers.
Sneakers.
It was a nightclub.
I can't imagine dad going to a nightclub.
And Dad was there, and he asked me to dance, and your father could dance, and that's when we started dating. And then we moved together. Shortly after that, both of us thought it was advantageous for us to be roommates, and it worked out that way. And then 2 years, you came along. 93.
Yeah,
May
93.
of 93. So it was 2.5, almost 2.5. June would have been 2.5.
That's crazy.
Yep. And then you know the rest from there. We lived with Jim, and I lived together
So it
another
was about
8
like
years.
7. I was about 7.
You were 8 years old when we.
I was 7 or 8, I guess, but I'm pretty sure I was 7.
No, I think you were 8.
I think I would remember this
Barely.
when my parents broke up.
Well, you went through a lot, even at that age.
What do you mean?
Well, not only did I have an interesting life, but you've had an interesting life.
Yeah, my life's been pretty interesting, but tell them about it. I mean,
So-
from your perspective, because I mean,
From my perspective, Kyle was my love, and he was born 8 pounds, 11 ounces. He was big.
still am. Go ahead.
And he was born with pneumonia because Mom didn't know she was in labor. And I was taking Christina, my niece.
Wait. I have not heard this story. You didn't know you were in labor?
I did not know I was
God,
in
no
labor.
wonder I'm so stupid.
Christina and I were out shopping for a prom dress. And we were at Ingram Mall at the time. And apparently, I had gone to the doctors 2 weeks prior to you were born. And I was complaining. I thought I broke my water back then. But again, you were just heavy and you were pushing on my bladder. So when it actually happened, it wasn't a gush. It was like the lining.
I mean,
had
were you
just
not paying? I
trickled.
mean, it was like 9 months, right?
Oh, you were 2 weeks late.
I was 2 weeks late. Oh, so you're just ready to burst. So how would you not know you're in
Because
labor?
I didn't have pains. Like, I didn't have labor pains.
Yeah,
Labor
but I don't think
pains-
that doesn't happen immediately, does it?
I guess every woman's different, but I didn't have labor pains until hours later. And I didn't even know I was in labor. So, I had Las Palapas nachos with your dad that night when I went into labor.
So Las Palapas forced you into labor?
No, but
Is that what you're trying to say?
I did have some
some spicy
Yeah,
salsa?
some spicy salsa. And then the next morning, you were born at 10 o'clock, but I apparently...
When was I born? What time? Do you remember?
10:01, I think. 10 something.
10:10.
Yeah.
You know who was also born in 10:10?
Who?
Time-wise?
No.
Zach.
Zach, Gabrielle's son, brother?
Mm-hmm.
How amazing. Your brother-in-law, and you were born almost the same day.
No, we weren't. His birthday's in June or July.
Okay.
Sorry, Zach. I
So
don't know
2
which one.
months different.
One of the two. Yeah, I mean, it's completely different, but the time is kind of crazy.
It is.
And the fact that you realize Gabrielle lived here most of her life,
Yes.
which was 5 minutes from our old house.
Yes.
Which is kind of crazy to think about.
Yes.
It's wild, huh?
It is a small world in San Antonio.
Yeah.
So you ended up with pneumonia because I had a dry birth. That's how you ended up with
A
pneumonia.
dry birth.
Yes. Meaning,
I would Google that, but I don't want to see the results.
Well, meaning that all my placenta fluid that carries the baby.
Okay, again, too much detail.
Okay. Anyways.
I didn't want to know that.
So you were born with pneumonia because fluid had gotten in your lungs.
Really? You know, and then I had pneumonia later on too, right? Like when I was a kid.
Well,
because I missed a lot of school in elementary school.
What happened was you didn't get well, yeah, you did get pneumonia.
I missed because I remember missing school for about a month.
He did because Dr. Galan was your pediatrician, best pediatrician, but he's passed. But he was not there at the time, and I had taken you to see another pediatrician. Mm-hmm. And I had told him at the time, you had been allergic to a lot of things growing up. And
yeah, a lot of medicine.
I told this gentleman that Dr. Galan would have prescribed. It was right there in your chart. I don't know why he didn't. And what he prescribed for you did not work, and you ended up with pneumonia and very, very sick. But they let me pick up your stuff, and you always maintained your intellectual integrity for that age, and so they let you continue.
I hated school.
But they helped you and
legitimately hated school.
I know.
Until I got to college. And even then I didn't really like college until
But we used to have so much fun. I don't know if you remember when you were younger, I would go and buy you all these books that were for do the math or do.
That was the only thing that made sense to me. You realize that?
What's that?
Math. That was the only thing that made sense to me. I hated reading. I hated writing. I hated learning about history. I thought it was so boring.
History's important.
Yeah, I mean, it's very important, but I just back then I just was so bored of it. it wasn't interesting to me. Right. And then math, I think my brain likes to solve puzzles. And so math was just always this giant constant puzzle. And that you could recognize the patterns based on the numbers and things like that. And so that's why I kind of I think my mind geared towards it more. But yeah, no, I hated school.
But you came from a generation of mathematics.
Oh my God, don't get started.
You have father who had a degree in chemistry,
that's not math.
My father. Well, you had to know math before you got into chemistry.
I mean, you need to know a little bit. If you didn't know
what a formula was, you couldn't have taken chemistry.
Mom, a formula in chemistry and a formula in math are two different things
because they use elements versus numbers. However, if you don't have a learning understanding of how a number and an element can equate, then you won't have an understanding. So math was very important.
I just don't think you guys were mathematicians.
Well, I won second place.
Yeah, do not believe this.
Okay.
I need to see the trophy in hand with the picture evidence.
They gave me a ribbon, I believe, and it was second in the city.
Second in the city in math.
San Antonio in 7th or 8th grade.
There's no way.
Well, I don't know if they do history on
there
that
is no
too,
way. Okay, hold on. What was it? What was it called? What was the competition?
Tomash. Oh, it was a City of San Antonio math competition. I don't know. We went to Houston for the state. So it was regional. I don't know, whatever they would call a math competition back then. It had to be in either 76, 75, 76, somewhere around there. So
1976, huh?
Maybe. Let's see. I wasn't married to Bob then,
I don't think they would track
1974. Try 1974. San Antonio City Math. I don't know what contest.
No, I don't believe you. Second in the city.
Yes.
In math.
Yes.
What was the competition about?
It was math. It was a mathematical competition. It was just like they used to have math competitions. Spelling
I know, but
bees.
what? Yeah, I know.
I was at Longfellow Junior Middle School.
Okay, but hold on. Here's the thing. In a spelling bee, you have to spell.
Right, you have to do math problems.
What kind of math problems is what I'm asking?
Oh, well, I was only, I think I was doing quadratic equations.
So you memorized the formula and then did what?
No, they had paper. So like you had to answer, I don't know, 50 or 100 questions in so much time.
In so much time? Okay.
And then,
And then they would give you what? Number, like in the question, what would they give you?
they don't, some you had to write out, and some there would be multiple questions, like multiple answers, and you would pick one.
Well, I get that, but I'm saying like you have to start with certain variables, right? In a quadratic formula, like you have to know certain things.
Oh, of course.
So what do they give you? I don't know if you can remember that, if that actually happened or not, but
Well, okay, so what I remember is the test. Like, I don't know how many well, you've taken a lot of mathematic tests. So growing up, you had these tests. Like, who was Mrs. Carter? She was your physics teacher, right? Physics teacher. But you would get these tests and standard tests, and you had to...
they weren't standard, I guess, in high school. It was more just like what they made up.
Well...
the teachers.
Yeah,
I don't think they were
they have to
standardized.
they had to follow curriculums. Back then, you really had to follow curriculums because you had accountability to the state and all that kind of crap. So... But it was one of those tests, and I took it for Miss Martinez, and she came back and was all excited. Oh, and I was class vice president that year, I believe, as well, with David Sadoff. And David Sadoff, his family used to own Sadoff's Furniture, and then David went on to build a church over here. I don't know if he's pastor there anymore, but... he was pastor
So
there
you just got
for Bandera Road Community Church.
You took this test and then you just got nominated for a math competition?
No, because I had won
The local test at your school.
for the city. I had to represent city of San Antonio and go to Houston for the state.
So you won the city competition.
Only second. Somebody else won first.
So then, so they took the top 2 students?
They took the top 10 different categories. The different age groups. And
Different
we went
age
to
groups.
San Jacinto. We were over there at the university near there. I don't know what it was, but that's where we took. And then it was state, and boy, what a lot of people! It was really something.
Can you put this closer?
Yes, better.
Okay, try not to drag it too much.
Okay,
but,
better.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
And then move it push it this way.
Way?
No, other way. Push it towards you. There you go.
This way.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay. Hope you're gonna edit some of this.
Why?
I don't know.
Have you even watched a podcast before?
No.
Okay, so then why do you keep giving suggestions on a podcast and things that you know nothing about?
I think of it as a platform.
It's not a TV show, Mom.
I know, but
it's
I
not the
like to think
1960s
that-
where they talk like this. It's Dick Gracie. This is here. We're watching the Philadelphia 76ers and the Mets play, and
No.
there's it's not like that. It's just having a conversation.
I know.
And it's not like a sit-down interview where you're watching Conan O'Brien or whatever it was back then.
Oh, my little Conan. I'm sitting.
Oh my God, I forgot about that story.
Oh, yeah.
You want to talk about that?
Well, when you were little, I took you to Dallas, Texas to compete in a modeling contest. And they thought
My big ass elephant ears back then.
you were not big ass elephant ears, but
I had
they
massive
liked
ears.
you
I still do.
as the Conan O'Brien lookalike. And you were just a little guy on a big stage.
Yeah.
A long day.
Yeah, I was pretty pissed.
And he did not want to go through with it. And
Nope.
Kyle wasn't meant to be an actor.
Yeah, I guess so.
He went on to be an engineer.
Yeah. Uh-huh. So what happened? So did I just
We went home.
No, I mean what happened during the competition? I just walked up. I remember walking up stage and shaking somebody's hand. It wasn't Conan, was it?
No, it was
some random person, right?
No, it was the people in charge.
Yeah,
of
like talent scouting, I guess.
Yeah, talent scouting.
And then I remember running off stage and crying.
I know, because you were there at the end because you were.
And then sitting on some giant metal lion thing or something.
we were staying at a beautiful hotel.
Yeah, that's all I remember.
Yeah.
That was a long time ago.
3 years old, I guess. So yeah.
No, I was way older than that.
No, I don't
Mom, I was way older than 3.
Maybe 5 or 6 then? Not very.
Yeah. I don't even think you were with dad at that point.
No,
I think I was
Dad hadn't gone. We went with somebody else, but Dad was, or maybe Dad did go and just didn't go to the competition. But
No, I don't think.
no, Dad
I don't think
was
y'all were
still
together.
around. Yeah, because you were under the age of 6.
I don't think so. I'll have to disagree with you on that.
Well,
yeah.
we'll have to post a picture so you can see how old you look.
Do you have a picture of that?
I do.
Where?
Not with me.
No, I'm saying I don't think
At
you do.
home in my green photo album.
Oh, really? Mm-hmm. Oh, wow.
I also have a picture of you almost falling into Niagara Falls.
Yeah. Whose smart idea was that? To put
was
me on a
mine.
stump by the rails where I'm like
The
lifted
rapids.
off the ground near the rapids. That's crazy.
Oh, yeah. I didn't realize it until after when I got the pictures and I was like, oh my God, I almost killed my son.
Yeah, that wasn't the first time either. Remember when I broke my leg?
Oh, yeah, that was my fault too. My poor son. He's had to deal with a crazy mom.
I refused, or you were, I didn't refuse. I knew it was broken. I heard it snap off my bone. I legitimately walked in the car after playing basketball, hearing my
You
own
were
ankle.
hopping to the car.
Oh, yeah, okay, whatever. I'd snapped my ankle and I heard it. And you were like, no, you'd be screaming and crying and all this. And you made me, okay, this is the best thing that I remember from this, is you made me put it in a bucket of ice
Yes,
while
I
I
did.
played video games on my computer. And then you made me wait a whole week before I could go. And then the x-rays come and my bone is an inch off of my actual other bone.
It was,
It was
your
separated.
Tibula off your fibula.
It was
yes.
completely separated. It looked like I had 2 baseballs in my ankle.
Yes. Well, that's why I figured, you had, in my defense, you had sprained your ankles a couple of times. And I had just thought it was a sprain. I was not on the court. I did not hear it.
I know.
I know, but you were only 16.
I don't
How
care.
old were you?
I literally said
15?
No, it was because we were gonna go to Vegas and play that summer. I was really
Oh,
disappointed.
you were playing AAU.
I was playing AAU at that point, and I was getting really good.
Yeah, you were.
And then I broke my ankle, and then I just didn't want to play basketball after that.
Well, you broke it one more time after that when you were playing for Brandeis.
No, I wasn't playing for Brandeis.
The second time you
No.
sprained it or
I
something.
went to Brandeis, so it was
You
the
were
summer.
on the Brandeis basketball
Mom,
team.
listen to me. I know what I did.
Well, did
okay?
you not play for Brandeis
No,
basketball?
I didn't play a single game for Brandeis basketball.
Yeah, you did. You
No.
play with that guy from
No, Mom.
that went
listen.
to Clark High School.
Yeah, I know you're talking about Sterling, but
Sterling.
yeah, but you got to listen to me. I played and broke my ankle the summer of my freshman year, right? So I played freshman year at O'Connor.
Yes.
And then that summer, we were playing AAU. We played in a bunch of tournaments that summer.
Yes.
And then it was my sophomore summer. Everybody was like transferring over.
Right.
And I think I don't
It was
remember.
your junior year, wasn't it? That you
I know, but I think Brandeis opened.
2011 is when you
It
graduated.
opened my junior year, but I didn't play on JV at O'Connor because I was going to probably end up playing JV at Brandeis. So that I guess I missed a year, and then I just played AAU that sophomore summer, and that's when we were going to go to Vegas and play in the tournaments. And then I broke my ankle,
And then you went.
and then I went to Brandeis, and then I didn't play, but I did go to a few practices and played, but that was it.
Oh, okay. The coach wanted you to play, but you.
I had a stint on my ankle. You remember that? Remember the stint?
Yeah. So you mean the splint?
Splint, not the stint. I'm sorry.
But you did have 2 titanium screws put in. Your legs.
Yeah. Two screws that are still there.
Yeah.
I wonder if they're like messed up with my ankle because my ankle still hurts like every now and then.
No, when it
And
was
when I play
bone.
too, it does get sore. Like when I play outside and on concrete. But yeah, I miss playing basketball.
I know you were pretty good.
Yeah, I used to be pretty good. Not anymore though.
Okay, so what else can I tell you that was really interesting in my life? I loved fishing, and I
Yeah.
love hunting. And
Well,
I
that's the product of growing up in upstate New York.
correct.
Yeah.
So that was a fabulous life too. To be able to have that luxury of going to a lake every weekend,
Yeah, right,
having
privilege. Go ahead.
it's a privilege. And, to go to the lake, to have a horse named Daisy, and to have a snowmobile license. We had to get a snowmobile license at 10 years old. You had to have a snowmobile license. And so, to come from that geographical living to San Antonio and El Paso, and was just a shocker. Colorado, not so much. Florida, not so
Well,
much.
Colorado is very similar to New York.
Right.
But yeah, you're coming from a nice little area to the desert, basically.
Tropical island. I used to think of San Antonio
Is it
as
tropical?
a tropical island, and it's so funny because
Wait, hold on.
the
Let me ask you
ocean
something.
is like 3 hours
3 hours,
away.
yeah.
And so for me, of course, it wasn't an island. We're living on a peninsula, but because we're way down the end of the tip of the Texas.
That was always fun trips, going to Corpus Christi and
Oh yeah, you
Yeah.
got to go out on the floating cabin.
yeah. Oh, that was an interesting story too. When I caught the fishing pole after the storm.
Oh yes,
remember
because
that?
it had fallen overboard, and it
Yeah.
was a very expensive fishing pole and rod, and you had caught it that next morning.
Yeah,
and
that was crazy.
fished it in for Armando, Dr. Niebla, and yeah, he was happy as could be.
That's nuts. Yeah, that was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
22 years, something like that. 20 something. You were 8. You met Keith at the time, and Gloria and Russell, and Gloria's passed.
Yeah, that was a long time ago. That's nuts. Life is crazy, isn't it?
It's amazing. I've had such an amazing ride, and I feel like, my son wants to put me out to pasture, but
Put you out to pasture. What do you mean?
well, he's thinking. I've heard so many times, Mom, what are you going to do now? You're old. Your mom, what are you going to do now? You're old. Well, I'm not old anymore, Kyle. I mean, I'm not old.
What?
Old to me is 80.
Oh,
They had that question.
And 20 years ago, old to you was 64.
Oh, no. I've never
Yes.
felt old because I always have been an older person in my mind. And then
Here's my thing: is you don't have a plan. That was my concern.
okay.
But I
can
feel like-
understand that.
Yeah, exactly. And
I
I
do
feel like,
understand that.
and you've even admitted this to yourself, literally during the podcast, was like I was always on. I floated my own wind or whatever. You
Oh,
said.
yes. Wing and a prayer.
Yeah, but that's my point. It's like you can't just do that now.
Oh,
It's all
no.
coming back because you're 60 years old.
Well, it's not. It came full circle, but not in the way that you would think. Because my life has only gotten better. It certainly hasn't
Mom,
gotten worse. I
get
mean,
that.
think about that. I have buried my parents,
Mm-hmm.
raised an intelligent son, and I'm thinking about going back to college.
Okay, the point I was making is you're not prepared for retirement, and where you should be thinking about that.
Yeah. In most cases, you're right. That retirement is very important to live beyond a certain age so that
Well, do you realize like a lot of the money that people save, most of their money is spent near the end of their life
Yes.
because you have to pay for medical expenses,
Yes.
cost of like healthcare and living.
Yes.
Like it's definitely different.
It is. I have friends. Well, one, she saved for retirement all her life.
Yeah, and I get that. That's one situation, but you can't just look at the
No,
situation and think
I
everything's
was going to
okay.
give you more than one situation.
Okay, go ahead.
So yes, she passed. She left all her retirement. Her son
Yeah.
had it, bought a ranch. He's living his best life. Then I have another friend who is living her life, and she has medical condition, and she is living off of her retirement. And then I have another friend who's even older than that, who's at an age where do you spend it or you don't spend it, and you can't take it with you, so but as long as this is my philosophy, as long as you have a roof over your head, a food in your belly, and somewhere you can call your own or home, whether it be an apartment or a house or a ranch, that you're living your best life. And money does run out eventually if you're not working and you have living on your savings, or some people that have retirement, eventually that could run out too, depending on how early you retire. In my dad's case, he retired at 52 and lived to be 92. So he was retired longer than he worked.
But Grandpa was a different situation too. You got to realize the guy literally picked up Coke cans and made $26,000 over 13, 14 years from picking up Coke cans.
It's discipline, Kyle.
I know, but that's what I'm saying, Mom, is like you don't have I guess my concern is
Do you think Father had a plan?
yes.
Well, all
We
he
got
had
his
was-
plan.
Well, he all he did was his retirement from the state.
Yes. For
and
how
his
many
Social
years?
Security. He only worked 22 years for the state.
Yes, Mom. That's a long time.
Yes.
And compound interest happens in 22 years.
Yes. Well,
You don't have 22 years to do that, is my point.
No.
That's what I'm worried about. So my concern is you're 64, right?
This
and yes,
year.
yes, and now you have savings, which is great, which is awesome, which is a little bit, it's better. But I mean, you don't want to have to be working until you're 80 years old.
No, and I don't plan that. I do
Okay.
plan on working till at least 70. Although, I'll be honest with you, there's a lot of business owners that I know that are 77 now and, or in their 60s, and yet, they want to retire, but then you have a business and people depend on you and people.
Well, I feel like that's at that point you hire someone to take over the business, or
Or
if
you
you
sell it.
if you have someone or sell it, yeah, or if you have someone that you've been, this is lack for a better term, but grooming somebody to actually like take over the business.
Right, that's true. But then there's people that don't. Like an example would be this hamburger place that everybody in San Antonio used to love. It's called Little Hips. And when after 30 years of being there and no one was there to take over that business, it closed down and people missed it. But
Yeah. Do you remember Bobby J's?
Oh yeah, out in Helotes.
It's closed.
Oh wow.
Because of COVID, and two, the same situation. I think it just
you
happened.
grow
Just closed
older
down.
and some people don't care about owning
I mean, that was
a
the
business.
best, one of the best burger places in San Antonio.
It was a good place.
Yeah, it was a great place.
Life happens, and there's no rhyme or reason. I could die tomorrow and you inherit all my money.
Yeah, but my point is for you to be prepared, because
I am prepared. I am prepared.
You're not prepared.
I am in the sense
Mom,
that
okay, let me ask
I'm
you-
healthy.
Yes. Okay.
I'm healthy and I am not ready to stop working. I don't know what I'm going to do as far as where I want to end up for the rest of my life. And then I don't think, for a caregiver for myself, you're right. I have not thought who's going to be taking care of me or wiping my bottom or wiping my drool or any of those things, I have not. However, being that I have been a caregiver in those situations, I know that God puts people in your paths. And I believe that as long as you do respectively treat yourself with dignity, that dignity could follow you to the day you die. So I'm praying. Grandpa Luciano, mother's dad, he died at 91, and he had a daughter that she took care of him. I don't have a daughter, but I have a daughter-in-law, and I have a son. So I'm hoping that if I ever get bed-bound at that point, that they'll know that I won't be a burden for more than a couple of weeks like that. So that's how I want to see it. Well, Dad was not a burden to me until 2 weeks.
I mean, he was a
before.
burden to you.
He was not.
Mom, you literally had to call the cops because he was freaking out on the highway.
Okay, but that was due to a medical reason.
But I know, but that's what I'm saying. That still takes stress and life from you.
It did. It was life-threatening. But, in his justification, he had no understanding of what he was going to be going through.
Yeah, that's fair, and that's fair. But I'm talking from your perspective.
From my perspective, he was my father.
Okay.
And I loved him.
Okay.
And, I knew that he was ill. So
I just can't watch someone crumble like that. It's just not.
Well, I know because you're a sensitive guy. You're my love child. So your heart is full of
What?
sensitivity.
Why would you?
Why would I say that? Because it's true. You're a great guy.
What is wrong with you?
He thinks something's wrong with me because I think he's a great guy.
There's something wrong with you. So wait, what'd you say to me earlier about the tip you got today or a couple days ago?
Oh, yeah. So these two beautiful black ladies came in and I was waiting on them and they had a really nice dinner.
No. What were the words you used?
Well, I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you the whole
okay.
story. And so I just treated them like anyone else. And they had a nice dinner. So I had offered them an appetizer and they had a flight of margaritas. And then they had a nice crab lobster dinner. And no dessert. They didn't have room. But what they did do at the end of the ticket they gave me to pay me, they paid me, and then the other lady, she reached in her purse and she gave me a large tip and she said, we want to give you this to make your day because you have such good vibes.
You were the worst to work with, by the way, as a cook and a server. You were
I'm
the
still
most
the worst to work
You
with
were the
because-
most annoying person when you would come to the line and demand your food.
Well, it's because it wasn't that I was demanding our food. I've been working with this company for 36 years, and there are protocols to follow. Just think of me as a surgeon. You know, if you don't hand me that tool right when you're supposed to, the surgery's not going to go well. So if you
Did you
don't
just
hand
compare?
my food to a scalpel? Yes. Yes, I did. But if you take pride and dignity in what you do, which I do, to me, it's just as important. I know that doctors are life-saving. You know, they save lives.
And you're giving butterfilled
And
fish to somebody who's probably going back to that doctor to have their open heart surgery. No. You realize that, right?
No, we're relatively healthy restaurants.
No. Hell no, that restaurant is not healthy.
It is healthy.
No. I worked there for 5 years.
Why would you say it's not healthy?
Well, I'm not saying the restaurant name, but I don't think it's no. I mean, there's healthy dishes on there, but everything was cooked in butter and oil. And it wasn't even like natural butter either. It was like this like gooey, like yellow stuff that you'd pour in like the green beans and shit and mix it together. It was gross. It was nasty. I prepped food. I know what goes in there. And half of it's frozen. Am I wrong?
The fresh fish is
Okay, so 10% of the menu is fresh fish.
well, the lobster and shrimp and crab are frozen
Yes.
because they have to. It's a long way from the sea.
And the steaks are frozen. And the chicken is frozen. And all the
But
fried
they're
fruit.
all okay. In that defense, the steaks are frozen, but they're frozen into a air sealed, tight,
doesn't
vacuum
matter.
packed.
It's still
Yeah.
frozen food, Mom. All of it's frozen. And meaning when you cook it, it's going to taste differently than when it would just like, you know, being in like a cold like storage. Am I wrong?
No, I guess not.
Remember Patrick and I don't know if I had told you this, but we used to steal steaks all the time from
Oh my
from
God,
there.
I don't want to know that. That you need to edit right out. I do not want to know your bad behavior.
We used to stick them both in our pockets, and we would take 2 each and put them in our pockets and walk out.
That is bad behavior. You'd have been in trouble with me.
Yeah, I'm sure.
You would have.
Yeah, okay,
You
because
know
you've
how
never
I feel
taken
about
you've
that.
never taken food from there.
No.
Okay, yeah, that's bullshit.
36 years I've never taken food from there.
my
And
God.
let me tell you something else. Because I see, I know a lot of people think that pilfering food is not really stealing, but it is. And so
It's not when you're offered, what was it, 10% that we got off on our meals?
we get 50% off when we work, 25 when we come visit.
Well, you get 25%. Maybe it was 25%. I guess that was pretty
It was
decent.
50%. So,
But also, what I was getting paid for the amount of work I was doing on the kitchen line was ridiculous. By the way, 100%. I was a server and a cook. The cooks have it way worse.
of course they do.
Way worse.
I know that.
And they
I've worked
honestly,
on the line
they
before.
should get tip out. Legitimately.
No, they shouldn't get tip out. They should get paid more hourly.
No.
wage.
They should get tip out.
I don't understand.
That's BS because the quality of food would go up.
So let
So
me
what?
ask you this.
Okay.
So, okay, because this is a good point. Okay, so now they should get more hourly wage. I think they should get 25, 30 bucks an hour. I think every bit of that. And they don't. But it's not our responsibility as a server to pay the cooks.
Okay, so
And-
then I'm just going to put a baked potato on your tray and then hope for the best for your guests. How about that?
But that's no, you're not looking at the bigger picture.
No,
here.
you're not looking at the bigger
We
picture.
make $2 an hour.
I don't care. You signed up to be a server, right? At that point?
$2 an hour is not a lot of money, Kyle.
Really?
Now, recently,
I had no idea
I'm
that
gonna
$2
say
an hour wasn't-
Recently, we had this Taipei concept come in and buy Red Lobster, and they literally made every server practically quit in most restaurants because they took a majority of our income.
You realize
to
I'm going to
try-
add out the name now, right?
What?
Because you said the name of the company.
Well, I'm not allowed to say that.
I don't think so.
Well, I don't know. It's the truth.
Okay, keep going. I'm sorry.
So the point was, if I had a $300 day, I had to tip out $100 of that.
Mm-hmm.
That was a third of my income. Now, when you're used to getting some and then all of a sudden you lose it, it almost put me in a very bad spot to
Yeah.
pay my monthly income. So, and it didn't work for them, obviously, because they already sold us and they lost so many people, not to mention $10.5 million for the company. But, they didn't consider when they made that, the families. I was blessed, but other families were struggling,
Yeah.
getting evicted from their homes because they literally took money right out of their pockets.
Yeah.
And that was just not fair. They could afford to pay the back of the house more money. They did not have to take it from the individuals that worked really hard to create the business, the return business, and to give the hospitality that we're required
Okay.
to give as servers.
So here's my take on this. And again, I've worked both sides.
You have. But you were also blessed to have a personality where people enjoyed you as a server. You did a good job because mom was a pain in the ass. And you did very well. And you saw the difference of how you only made $15 in the back of the house and you could make $35 in the front of the house. And you fell for the people in the back of the house because, again, it is hotter back there.
No, it's more mentally taxing. 1,000%.
Yeah, you have to multitask a whole lot of stuff. It's not just coffee, tea, or soda. It's steak, shrimp, pasta.
This is my perspective of working in the back of the house and the front of the house. The front of the house was really just talking to people, controlling the amount of chaos that you had in the front
pace.
and the pace, and then pressing a few buttons. Then
Correct.
when you get to the back of the house, it's way more than that.
Yes.
You have to put certain things in certain spots or people lose time.
Yes.
So when you're losing time, the customer is losing patience. And that's like really bad. And so I feel like the back of the house was much more tedious and meticulous because you had to know where things went, you had to know how much time they would take to cook. And then if you get stuck on some other tray, like say, for example, I was like plating food, if you take a certain amount of time to plate the food, the next order is going to take that amount of time to make up and catch up, which is awful.
Yes.
Because then if you're understaffed, then it gets backed up and there's just creates this giant queue.
It is.
It's bad.
It is, and that's when
And so
we have
that's when
1
I
hour
say-
tickets.
Yeah. And that's when I say the cooks would have more of an incentive if they got tip out.
But you still only have 5 cooks on the line. Say you have 5 cooks on the line. You're never going to have 7 or 10 that could help out. And
You take a percentage of the tip outs, 1% for each cook.
I just think that they should just get paid more.
Yeah, but that's the thing is you could
That
work.
would be more incentive
You can
too.
no-
Wouldn't you see? That's just as incentivizing.
Yes, but you're limiting the cap on the actual experience. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yes,
Because you're
but
for example, let's say they're getting paid $15 originally. You bump it to bump it to $20, $5,
Okay.
right? That $5 of effort isn't going to mean much when they could potentially be making $100 per tip out. Does that make sense? So, and you're getting roughly. So you're saying $200 roughly per server per. Let's just say on a Saturday night is like on average, right? $200
no,
and tips. I'm saying. Listen, $200
okay, we'll go with that number.
for a whole day shift in tips. What's wrong with
We'll
that?
go with that.
Does that not make sense?
Yeah, that's a good amount of money.
And typically how many servers are there?
It can be up to 18.
Okay.
I've worked with as many as
So,
18 on the floor.
Let's work the math here. If each server is making roughly, and obviously this is like,
And you all give them $2 each. 18 is 36, and then you divide it between 5.
200 times 18, right? And then times, let's just say 5%.
5% was 6.6, and I went broke.
Listen to me.
That's what Thai Concepts did.
There's 5 cooks. This is what I'm basing it off. So it's
Yeah,
$180.
well, there was only 4 back of the house, 2 in the front, 2 in the front. And we had to tip them out.
Okay.
And I lost a ton of money.
Okay,
so
and
did
you're
a lot
not
of
listening to
people.
me. You're interrupting me.
No, I'm sorry. Just
Okay,
saying,
so
you
it's
don't
about
know.
well, let's see. Maybe it would be 36 divided by 8. That's around the same actually. So 4.5. It's like $4.50. So you tip out 1% for each line cook. It's about 5% in tips. I guess your question or your point is like you're actually taking money from the servers and not the actual like company's bottom line is what you're trying to say.
Correct.
But they're obviously
We're
not
not
profitable.
paying the.
But here's the thing: is they're not profitable, obviously, because they're closing locations, and there's rumors that they're going bankrupt.
Okay, so yes, and so I'll because I've worked for Red Lobster since '87.
So I think that company coming in was trying to change something that ultimately, obviously, I guess isn't going to work. But for two, it's like I don't think people go to that restaurant anymore.
Oh no, we have a lot of regulars. I saw one the other day. I hadn't seen it, and I go,
Mom,
oh my god, it's been like 40 years.
But Mom,
of course, it wasn't 30. It was like 30 years, but.
The typical people that like young people that have money now, they're not going there to eat food.
Well,
They're going downtown. They're going to different places. More like I don't want to say extravagant.
you're
but
saying the younger professionals are not.
I just think
frequently
they're not going to chain restaurants anymore.
No.
I think chain restaurants are dying, and single owner businesses are starting to become a thing more. It's like bars and different
Small business owners.
yeah, small business owners. I don't want to say small business owners and like single business owners because
Oh,
a lot
yeah.
of people in San Antonio own multiple businesses like
Yeah,
restaurants
like,
and bars
well,
and
you
things like
got
that.
Augie
But it's
that-
local. It's not like a
Right, you
national
got Augie
company.
that owns Barbed Wire Grill, and you've met Augie and
Guil.
a grill, and then you've got Johnny Hernandez who owns Fruteria. So those are all locally owned businesses that have grown a great business like La Fagata or.
But they're also not
Saluna.
national businesses. And
They're not national businesses.
and I think this this company specifically, like, I don't know.
750 stores, and they just closed 77 stores.
I just don't think it's profitable anymore. And I think it hasn't been since I was there. It wasn't even profitable.
Well-
they got sold when I was there.
Okay, but they got sold for the fat. Okay, and what
For the
I mean
what?
by that is, okay, so they were profitable. So when we split off from Darden, it was because we were carrying other concepts, Red Lobster was. And then the new owners kept us for a while, and then they saw the potential into selling us again, and they did that. And
What was that company called? It's like Golden something?
it was Capital Investment Group, I thought. I don't know. They owned Payless Shoes. They had no business running a restaurant company, but they got all the profits they
if you
could
buy
out of
something
it.
for $1 billion and sell it for $5 million, it's worth the money.
Well, yeah, they got all the profits they could from it. So then this next guy Concepts come in, and he's trying to make it so the employees pay for other employees, which totally didn't work. And then he went and made it even less profitable by selling Red Lobster back when it was owned by General Mills and Darden. They bought their own property. They did not lease the space that Red Lobsters were in. Well, fast forward 30 years, Thai Concepts went and sold all the land that Red Lobster owned, and they profited from that and left just the business.
Oh, so they liquidated the real estate.
They liquidated the real estate, sold that, and now someone else has bought us. I'm not sure who it is, but they knew we were flailing.
So now you guys are just biting the bullet on the overhead for the actual rent.
$19,000 a month for the spot we're in right now.
That's fucking absurd.
However, our store is operating.
So wait, you're telling me the company owned that property at one point?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that was smart by the guy who did that initially. He's like, I'm going to liquidate the assets I can here. And then
he did.
But he
was the last
nosedived.
one. He did not want to deal with it.
Sounds like he nosedived the company, though, or just took losses.
Well, I believe he wanted to come in and tear us apart, but there was so much problem with that the only thing he could really get out of it, after he had already bought it, was the property. And, because that was a guarantee thing. He could turn around and sell all that property, and somebody else would hold the leases. So basically, that's what he did. And so now the person that took us over now is, before they filed Chapter 11 rumors, they're going to cut the fat, meaning stores that aren't in the red are in the black, that are in the red. All the red stores are probably going to, including Zarzamora, may get the axe. So, and since we lost a lot of employees when that other concept had tried to make employees pay for other employees, they lost so many employees at that time. There wasn't much, staff to run that business on the level it could be ran because there was no staff. However, they were turning that around because now a store where we had maybe 4 or 5 servers, now we have close to 20. It makes a big difference. You can only sell so much if you're one person. I can only wait on 50 guests. So if you have 10 people waiting on 50 guests, it's 500 guests. If you only have 4 people waiting on 50, it's only 200 guests. So you have to look at it from that perspective. And then Red Lobster has the capability of having as many as 18 or 19 servers on the floor at any given time. It can literally seat 250 guests per hour. So you have to look at the numbers, though. People that don't know the whole aspect of running a restaurant and just come in and try to do it like numbers, you can't, because there's so many variables in people. People are constant. You got to have a constant.
Well, there's definitely a lot of turnover in those type of industries. I mean, you're hiring a bunch of, typically it used to be like teenagers and mid-20s college students. That's when I worked there, that's what it was.
Right. Well, and to some degree it still is.
Yeah.
But.
All right. Well, we've been going for almost an hour and a half now.
Oh, well, that's fun.
Yeah, it goes by pretty quick, doesn't it?
It does. And now we can pop open the champagne.
I'm not drinking champagne at, what is it, 1 o'clock, 2:30 on a Thursday?
Well, it's my very first podcast.
Oh my god!
And
I hope you know,
I can't snort cocaine on a penis anymore, so might as well have champagne. My son, he's just.
All right, I'm gonna stop it there. Yeah, it's just a great way to end it.
No,
I love you.
I love you too.
All right.
Y'all just wanna ride the wave, y'all can get up